Host of the C.E.O podcast show, and I am also the CEO of Hartley Capital. I'm blessed today to start off our first episode of Bag Talk, where we bring financial lessons and gaming together. It's new for my timeline, and I hope it's new to yours. I look forward to giving great content. We got some interesting topics today. We're talking about buying a supercar, also talking about the stock market crash, as well as the LA Clippers moving forward on the purchase of the Forum and building their new arena. So with that being said, I love to pray in and get going to the Bag Talk. Dear God, I thank you for the opportunity to be on this platform, to be able to talk to those all around the world. I thank God that we have the opportunity to discuss and to communicate virtually. I pray, God, that you decrease me and increase you. May your will be done. And I also pray protection over the advice that we give. And also just knowing that you are the source, God, and not money, and we can put our trust in you. I pray protection over all those lives who might be around me and around also in my close group. Just pray protection that we can have safety during this time of uncertainty, but really it's not uncertain as long as we put our trust in you. And thank God for all the many blessings, and thank you, God, for allowing us to be a blessing to others, which is a blessing in return. So thank you, God, for all that you do. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So let's get going. We're going to start off. I'm going to start playing Cars, Project Cars 2. Going to start the conversation off talking about cars and supercars at that. So let me get going. Let me make sure I adjust the TV volume so that way you guys can still hear me. So pulling up my notes. Awesome. So I am getting ready to play Cars 2. I actually just got this game. It is fairly new to me. To be completely honest, guys, I literally just started playing my Xbox again. It's been years. I have some very close friends that'll tell you how long it's been since I actually started playing my Xbox again. So I'm excited to get back on, use social distancing as a time to connect with others, and also have a little bit of fun, blow up some steam. Been working pretty hard planning and getting after it on the fun, but looking forward to talking with you guys and getting after it. So I'm actually about to choose my car. I think I'm going to go for a Ferrari. One of the cars I would actually love to get in my near future, preferably is a 488 Spider. So I'm thinking about going on ahead and hopping on a Ferrari and using it for the race. This game has been pretty fun. I played it about 2 times so far. I got it about 2 days ago. So I've been having some fun with it. Should I get the Enzo or the LaFerrari or the F50 GT? Okay, so it gives me some stats here. 645 horsepower, 600 horsepower, 950. So that's pretty interesting. 2.9 second. I think I'm gonna go for, but this one goes 230 miles per hour. I think I'm gonna go with that one, the F40 LM. So with that being said, we're gonna talk today about buying a supercar. I have my notes in front of me, so if I look away, that's why. And if I ever look to the left, it's because I'm looking at my computer for notes. So today, we are talking about a few things when it comes to buying a supercar. Have some pretty creative stories to say and just want to help you be empowered. I try to keep this between 20 minutes each segment. So we're going to go for 60 minutes strong. And this is going to be our first one. So we look forward to putting this on YouTube as well. Make sure you comment and subscribe to all our channels to be up to date. And also, I'll leave a link in the bio where you can download my notes that I'm actually using. And then once you come on board, I'll make sure that I'll get these out to you before every live stream. So that way you'll have the notes and you can follow along. All right, so let's start our race. So the first thing we want to talk about when buying any car is a down payment. That's a huge part of it. Down payments are literally a type of payment used when you're financing. So, here it goes. I got to start. Let me change my camera. Boom. All right. So now down payments are important because they will basically dictate the money you have, like the skin you have in the car or the game. So if you come on board and you're buying a car and you're thinking about financing it, which it is a pretty large, expensive purchase when you are buying a supercar, upwards of $200,000 sometimes, new of course. Now, if you do this, I am not the best at this game at all. These tight turners. Speaking of supercars, I'm driving my car crazy. So the down payment is going to be your equity that you put into it. The money that comes out of your bank account in order to purchase the car. The rest will be financed. That's important to keep in mind because when you're going to go buy these supercars, you want to know how much money you're willing to put out of pocket day of purchase, which will allow you to also maybe leverage a few things. Now, I have a few suggestions here. I'm not going against anything about cars. Like I said, I would love to get me a nice 488 Spider. So I'm looking into the supercar world as well. It's awesome. But you want to buy smart. You don't want to overpay. I know we hear it a lot of times. Cash out, cash out. I don't even ask for the price, which is great. But remember, money is what you're making. So if you put it into something that isn't making any money back, oh my goodness, I'm terrible. How do you even back up? Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Oh, there we go. I am horrible at this game. It's so realistic, though. It's fun to drive. I just want to learn how to do a lap. All right, so again, if you got your down payment, that's going to be your portion of the skin in the game, so to speak. I'm going to actually restart, guys. I am trash. Can I change the map? Can I get one where it's not so many turns? That would be really helpful. All right, so let's see. I'm going to exit this and back to the conversation. So when you're financing, you want to know also your APR. So a down payment is the type of payment made in cash during the onset of a purchase of an expensive good or service. The payment represents a percentage of the full price. In some cases, it's non-refundable. So that's important because that's the money down. Now, you also want to make sure that you get the APR, which is going to be your interest rate. That's going to dictate how much you're paying the bank to finance money. This is important because when you're going to buy a new car, you don't want to lose that down payment off of depreciation. Here it says, according to Carfax, a car value drops 10% the moment you drive it off a lot. So you're losing 10% of the whole value of the purchase once you buy it off the lot. Yeah, this is what I need right here, a round map to get started and learn. So 10% of your money is boom, gone. It's not like something that's going to appreciate all the time. Now, some of these amazing cars, rare cars, which I'm pretty sure I know the P1 is one, McLaren, there's I think the Enzo as well, if I'm not mistaken. Is cars that appreciate. Cars appreciate, some do, not every car. And you want to be careful because 10%, as soon as you drive it off the lot on average, then the value dips another 10% during the first year of ownership. So for instance, it's like they're saying over the course of 5 years, you can see your car value dropping between 50 to 60. Now, we are talking about supercars, some different. There's no blanket statement. Full disclosure, I'm not giving financial advice or legal advice. I'm not a lawyer or an accountant. I'm just a nerd that loves finances, and also I like to know these things for myself as well. So there's actually a story, if you don't know Exotic Hacks, it's a page that you might see on Instagram and also on a few different channels. I gotta get the gentleman's name, but I do subscribe to the Instagram page, and I read a story about him buying an Aston Martin. Yeah, this is, why does everyone have the same car as me? That's not fair. Or am I seeing this wrong? Oh no! It is like really interesting learning how to drive on this. So anyway, he talks about buying his Aston Martin. Once I get a second here, I'll probably turn it on and go. Oh my goodness, I am horrible right now, guys. I just literally want to learn how to do a lap. It would be really, ooh, I'm doing the, yeah, let me restart this. This is crazy. So anyway, his the new exotics that depreciate most are the ones whose costs are inflated by marketing rather than production. This gives dealers bigger margins and allowing them to the authority to lower such margins in order to move product. So that's what this gentleman from Exotic Car Hacks is saying, that some cars are just marketed high, so they're not really going to be worth that, and they can be overpriced. So honestly, I hate to say it, but it's at the jurisdiction of those who walk in and want to actually buy a car at that price. So if you buy it, you bought it. Doesn't mean it's going to be worth that the moment you drive it off the lot. Doesn't mean it's going to be worth that come down the line when you're going to go sell it back to the dealership, maybe trade out. So that's important, because when you think about it, I'm trying to find some cheat codes here where I can full driver assist, stability control, all of this stuff. Trying to see if something can help me out here. Stay on the line. But anyway, you want to make sure that you know that, because when you're going to go buy these supercars, you want to know if you're buying a car that's going to appreciate, or is it just one that has real big high marketing involved, which is important because you don't want to just buy a marketed car that has no value. This is your money. If you bring $70,000 in as a down payment, you don't want to see somehow part of that 10% is going to be the money you put in, right? The rest is the banks. So you want to keep that money on hand as long as possible. Now, of course, these cars are fun, they're amazing, but they are, and I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, they're not always an investment, they're just a treat. So if we're going to actually buy these things, we also don't want to be on the wrong end of the stick overpaying. Now, if you want to, that's fine, but you also want to offset that with an asset. So what can you do? My suggestion is, and what I've learned, is about buying used, which I will come along. Oh, did I get my first lap? Oh, this is good. I'm really moving along now, guys. I actually think I'm kind of doing well. I got my first lap down. I haven't crashed. So, the owner of Exotic Hacks spoke about him buying a Aston Martin. The Aston Martin that he bought, I believe I will get it. I think it's a Vanquish. He purchased it, and after somebody had bought it, took the depreciation hit and returned it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the original price was north of $330. I'll check the facts, and you can check the notes. And when the person came back to actually turn it back in, I guess they have driven less than 800 miles. It was 6 months. Depreciation as soon as they drove it off happened, and when they turned it back in, I think they traded it in for. It got $230. Now, once they traded it, I don't know what they got for it or what they did. It's just a story that this gentleman is sharing. But from there, it was put back on sale for $239. Less than 6 months, less than 800 miles. The car originally was $300,000+, and I want to say 340. Not looking at it right in front of me. And then in less than a year, the same person traded it back in, and it was priced at $239,000. And then this gentleman from Exotic Car Hacks bought it for $207. Now that's important because that person's first down payment is probably in a jungle. It's probably getting flipped around, doing all kinds of stuff, and that could be your money. Now that person might be very astute, or maybe they got into a bad deal and lost some money. And then now the only logical thing is to keep giving back to the dealership. But what about your money? What about that $70,000, $25,000, whatever you put into that first car? Because again, this is a treat. You don't want to be on the bad end of the stick. Now, buying used, Exotic Car Hacks did not, in less than a year, the same car, just because it was driven around a little bit, and odds are usually these cars are not beat down. Like if you find these cars, they're usually low mileage because they have very different requirements for valuing a car that has miles on it. Did I get over a lap? This is ridiculous. I mean, I'm doing pretty good though, guys. I'm actually not the worst right now. This game is actually really fun once you do the circle laps. The other ones, I gotta get better. Shout out to Xbox for giving me a free game for having gold. I definitely probably would have bought the game by myself all the time. But anyway, back to this. So this gentleman bought it for $207,000, but the car is originally priced $340. Let's just call it that. That's incredible because he saved himself so much of a headache. As long as you're going in informed, you can make a wise decision buying a smart car. His financing probably looked a lot better. The payment would have been a lot lower, and the down payment that he put in probably could have been offset with the depreciation that already happened from not buying it new. Now, there's also another thing I would like to talk about. We're coming up on our first 20 minutes, and I'll switch over to gameplay after this. This has been fun, driving my Ferrari around the Lizzie laps, so I'm whipping it right now. But anyway, what about most people that we see with Lamborghinis or with the nice Mclarens or Rolls Royce? Are they buying it? Oh, almost flipped. Oh, what? Hey, we lit. Y'all saw that? Yes, sir. But what about those people that are using this as a marketing tool? A Lamborghini picture can really intrigue a lot of people on Instagram, YouTube, you name it. So this could be a marketing. And if you put your rap on it and make it yours, it can really become part of a business. And again, I'm not an accountant or a lawyer or attorney, but I will say there's some resources out there that speak highly about buying a car in your business name, and or keeping the asset or keeping it on your business's balance sheet. I'm not a business owner. Well, that's not hard to become. You can become an LLC. You can have a real business idea, and you can really put that to action. Your brand is a business. Like it or not, you're gonna have to file for the income if you're an influencer. You're gonna have to do something. Why not be a business where you could take use of the incentivized tax deductions that you can get as a business owner? That's important. Now your Lamborghini, I'm not saying is everything. Oh, it's everything. Oh, it actually gives you little tips when people are coming for it. They are sliding. But hey, if you can offset some of it, great. You know, I think that's a wise decision. And also, why should you have it in your name? This is a liability. Liability. It takes, you know what that is? A liability takes money out of your pocket at the end of the month, and an asset brings money into your pocket at the end of the month. So I don't know about you, but many cars are expensive. Don't matter how fancy or as economical as they are, they take gas. Usually need maintenance. If you're like me on this game, you're bumping it against the wall or something, it takes a little bit of keep up maintenance work. So your business can offset that and those expenses. Oh, I'm getting better at this game, y'all. I'm not folding. Your business can take those hits for you sometimes. So I'm not telling you to do anything crazy, but I'm just saying, if your car brings you in a certain metric in your business, you're using it for business, maybe there's some opportunities there. Lastly, buying your supercar. So we discussed saving the money. We discussed how you can maybe structure the purchase better, and also being a business. Is it for business? Now, working with a professional, negotiation is huge. You don't want to think that spending, just because you got it don't mean you need to spend it. And not even a bad way. Because that is what we call also, in the business of buying cars, those margins there are going to really dictate how the dealership makes money. But they're doing business at the end of the day. So you stuffing people's pockets that don't maybe necessarily need to be stuffed, hey, pay what you pay. But I'm just thinking it might be better for you, whatever money that you don't overpay, you can put it to work and put it in an investment. Put it in something that does appreciate, or save that money and go buy a car that may be appreciated. And then you can use that as a rare collection. Oh, my dog. Oh, I'm back at it, baby. I'm back at it. So with that, I know this has been pretty fun doing my laps. I have no clue how many laps we got to do in this game, but I haven't crashed, so I think it's been pretty good. So lastly, what I'm saying is work with somebody, work with a broker. There's some incredible brokers out there that will literally do all the work for you, especially high net worth individuals. You can keep your privacy. You can get this done. Work with your accountant. Work with people when you're buying these cars. Because the whole thing about car sales is we want to keep you emotional. I've worked in car sales, so you want to keep your emotions high. We want you to see how fun it is to drive it, especially with a Highline car. Wow, look how you look. Look how many views you'll get. Look how many people want to ride with you. That's what we do. So putting a professional in between that, they can take the emotion off the table, get you a great deal, and you'll be whipping it around. Yes, sir. 20 minutes, and I have just finished my first game, full game here. On here, I don't know if it tells me who am I, so really don't know who I was, what my name was, but hey, let's go switch games and let's go on to our next topic. So switching over, I then play Black Ops. I tried this earlier. The moment it was sold from the dealership and ended up being at a used dealer at less than 6 months later, with less than 800 miles for asking price of $239K, and this gentleman bought it for $207K. So less than a year, it went from 360 to 207. That's ridiculous. Not every car, it is an Aston Martin Vanquish, but again, some feel that is a very exotic car. It's definitely not my, traditional economic car. All right, so stock market crash. While I get this rolling, we get a game in. I'm gonna go for Black Ops up until I can either get a game in or potentially get to our 40-minute mark. Give me 1 second. I gotta find my charger for my controller so I don't have that die on me mid-conversation. Oh, there it is. Gotta have your batteries charged. So, stock market crash. We've been hearing this a lot during this time in this epidemic.
Moment after things were kind of announced, there was a lot of uncertainty. We saw
The red bars going down, 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 but then ironically things went up. In that moment, I don't actively do a lot of stock investing. I'm actually very much so gaining a lot of knowledge in that area, just studying up for myself. That's part of also my campaign to help those who are in a position to get to that accredited phase. I look at a lot of alternative investments, more so in real estate. But I wanted to know, what do these blanket statements mean? Stock market crashing. What the heck does that mean? That was literally my reaction. I think the big thing is when the stock market crashes, you see a lot of fluctuation. So then the next thing that I read was stock market prices going down. So what does that mean? Why does the stock market price goes down? So let me read this definition. Stock prices change every day by market forces. By this, we mean that the share price changes because of supply and demand. That's really big. Choose my class here. Recon.
Scanning all frequencies.
Then the price moves up. Conversely, if more people wanted to sell a stock than buy it, there would be a greater supply than demand, and the price would fall. Now that's important.
Let's see. I can mute the game chat here, because I know it's about to get shattered.
Hardcore team deathmatch. Buckle of buttercups.
Market crash going down is prices going down is dictated on supply and demand. So supply and demand is going to be really big due to the fact that if there is more demand but the supply is low, price goes up. If the demand is low but the supply is up, price goes down. And that's what happens during a crash. There's a lot more supply because people are selling due to uncertainty or wanting to sell, and there's low demand because people are uncertain and don't know where to put their money, or at least that's what it seems like. Now, on Twitch, I think I'm gonna leave the headphones off. My apologies, guys. I'll edit this out on the YouTube. But anyway, with lower supply, great. Just real quick, make sure that. Alright, we're back at it, guys. I hope that everything is well on the audio. I'm looking at Twitch, so if you can tell me if anything has changed. Okay, so back to the stock price. I'm already 5 minutes in. If supply is high and demand is low, prices go down. Now that's important because if the stock market is crashing, odds are you would say that the prices of stock are going down. They're going down. So paper losses is what I've heard called as well. You see a lot of paper losses happening. You haven't really lost money yet, but you do see on paper that the value has gone down. Now that's important because you don't want to just say, oh, the stock market is crashing. Well, what does that mean? To me, it's a great idea if you just go back to the basics, go back to the fundamentals. It's looking at it from another aspect. If supply is changing and there's a whole bunch more product on the floor or in the availability, you can buy low. And that's what people are telling you to do with financial advice right now. Buy low, sell high, right? Well, it's a little bit more to it than that. You want to also take into account, let's use Robinhood. A lot of people might be using Robinhood to buy some of the stocks. You want to make wise decisions where you can actually give yourself a chance to buy low enough where now, if you are in a position where that stock should be going back up, to actually sell at a higher price. That arbitrage is what you're doing it for, right? And also, if that company is doing well, you'll be able to get dividends because the company has made a profit, and now you're going to get a piece of those profits in the share. This is an important thing for you to also take into account when you're doing your Robinhood investing, or maybe you're using Ameritrade or Fidelity or other brokerage or trading platforms. But you want to make sure that you are coming from the best perspective. Now, key thing, it's really hard playing Black Ops or Call of Duty by giving some advice, but I'm actually not doing bad. Doing pretty decent right now. I should probably not run out here. You want to be careful. Let me go back to my notes. Check my audio. Hello. Check my audio. Alright, good. Alright guys, just want to make sure you can hear me. Going back to my notes. So, we want to look at a few indicators that's going to help. GDP is a good one that I've been learning. So, why do we want to look at economic indicators? Economic indicators are what the institutional investors, what the pension funds, what the brokers, what the professional investors are looking at. They want to look at things that can help them get a better picture of the economy's health. It's like a checkup for your economy, right? Well, businesses are part of our economy, so we want to know exactly what is the whole scope. And that also dictates whether it could be a rush to a panic, or maybe there's some reasoning why money is being moved. Maybe they're moving it into commodities or different things. So that's important because those indicators are going to give you a great scope to look at your investment portfolio and then maybe make some wise decisions. Now, I've also heard it where you don't change your investment strategy. When you have an investment strategy, you want to build it around making a decision that can take into account worst case scenario. Now, who plans for a pandemic? Nobody, right? Maybe not nobody. Now people probably will, but typically nobody would expect this. But it does allow you to give yourself the opportunity to now use these indicators to get a better story. So the first one that I was going to share, why I don't think my health is going to go up, is GDP, gross domestic product, the total monetary or market value of all financial goods and services produced within a country's borders. So in your country, that's important. In a specific time period, as a broad measure of overall domestic production, it functions as a comprehensive scorecard of the country's economic health. Now, it says about 70% of U.S. economic growth comes from the consumption of goods and services. Goods make up little more than 1/3 of all total personal consumption expenditures, but service makes up 2/3. So that's really important. There's a lot of services. Take into account what's opening right now. I know in Georgia, where Hartley Capital is based, we are seeing service business open up. And around the United States, there's a lot of people that's saying, hey, open us up. Well, if 2/3 of the GDP is technically going to be service-based, then that's really important that we don't lose fact that is really a big part of the economic health of the whole country as a whole. So if we see GDP going up, maybe now the stocks will look a little stronger and more people will want to keep their money in their investments. So that's really good. I'm not a politician. I don't try not to really lean into politics so much. I try to stick to what I know. However, politics plays a big factor in this. There's a lot of decisions made by leaders, and those are not dictated on what party you might follow, what are your beliefs, but these are just decisions. You want to be proactive instead of reactive a lot of times. And if you're proactive with planning, you can already have choices made for whatever decisions are made at each level. You have best case, worst case, and more likely outcome, sorry. And it's really hard playing this game, focusing and talking. I'm doing pretty bad. Alright, so now back to what I was saying. So another one that you want to look at is interest rates and yield curves. Probably heard that a lot right now. Interest rates are low, low, low. That's important because when interest rates are low, that means prices are probably going to be higher because they say there's more financing available for people to afford things that they can't typically afford cash. So that's important because houses, right? Most people don't buy those full cash or even the cars that we just talked about. So if interest rates are low, that means you can probably afford things that you typically afford. Now there's a caveat to that. Now we've seen Chase raise the requirements for mortgages. well, they're kind of minimizing their mitigating their risk. A lot of furlough, a lot of unemployment right now. So can people pay back these loans? Another question that they're having. So with that being said, you do want to look at the yield because that's where banks and other financial lenders are going to get their base value where they can add their spread and make a profit themselves because they're not doing it for free a lot of times, barely ever. But for you, you can know if you're getting a better deal or a worse deal. Now that APR on your car, you want to look at the yield, want to see what the bank is getting it for, what their spread is, and if that's not cohesive with what they're saying is their rate and what your rate is, then you can see if you're getting a bad deal. You can turn down a bad deal very quickly and use that as a negotiating power. It says that auto loans, mortgages, and even bank savings account interest rates all come from something called the yield curve, which is a visual depiction, a curve of interest rate paid on government debt that goes out for 30 years in the future. My goodness. Let's go say that again. Which is a visual depiction, curve and interest rates paid on government debt that goes out 30 years. So it goes out 30 years. Obviously, I cannot say a word for whatever reason right now.
Bottom line.
But that's important because it's going to give us like what they consider risk-free, almost in so many ways. That 30 years is going to be something that's wrapped around government debt, the interest paid on it. So with that, we also need to take into account something that's also very important about this. That's what the banks are getting. You can use that to judge your auto loans, mortgages, and also your savings account interest. You can tell if you're getting a bad deal. That's just business basics. They're not going. A lot of times people won't tell you that. You don't walk into the bank and they say, "Hey, here's the treasury and interest yield. This is what we're getting it from. This is what we're giving it to you." Look at your credit card. That's another good one. All of this stuff is wrapped in together, which gives us a great overview of how the economy is doing. I'm gonna take a pause. I think it's pretty good there, other than stuttering a few words, but I leveled up. I'm on level 10 now. I just got this game 2 days ago. So far not too bad. Did pretty decent. I'm back up out of this. Give me a chance to finish talking over our notes here. So our interest rates and yield curve is really going to be a depiction. Oh my goodness, why can I say this word? When I edit the video, I'm literally just going to say the word slow, use Google pronunciation to actually say it. However, our next thing we want to look at is inflation and purchasing power definition. Inflation makes the prices rise for essentially all goods. It means you can buy less stuff with the dollars you have during inflation. How much stuff you can buy with your dollar is called purchasing power. And when inflation happens, you can buy less stuff, and that is an erosion of your purchasing power. So, what does that mean for you? Well, you also want to know your purchasing power. The same when you hear people talk about buying bread for 50 cents, not buying bread right now for 50 cents. So what happened? Well, your inflation happened and the purchasing power of that dollar back in the day went down. And a lot of people take this into account with investments. So time value of money, like with a financial real estate fund like ours, we use IRR, which takes into account when you get those cash flows. Okay, I see you. 2K got the music on here, boy. But anyway, take into that account, you want to use all of this stuff to help you make wiser decisions when you are actually investing, whether it's you or somebody investing on your behalf. So, with that being said, all of this should make sense to you when you're using what we like to call the scientific method. Scientific method is back to the basics, what you learned in elementary, high school, college, using that test and hypothesis style to make your decisions so that way you can do better when you're choosing. So, for instance, if you're looking at stocks right now that may be dirt low, are you making a hypothesis that the price will go up because of certain things happening in the economy that you see and that dictates whether or not this will be a good company to invest in? That's how you think. It's not just about the number that you see historically. Have they been able to get through 2008? Have they been able to get through the 2000 bust? When did they start? Who's backing this company? All these questions are what the top investment professionals or people with the titles are doing. So look at the same data that they're looking at and make decisions. This is just helping you to be more confident. If someone is controlling your portfolio, I'm shout out to them Celtics. I've been hoping with them boys on the Celtics lately. But anyway, I definitely want you to be informed as well. So when you're maybe taking a course, learning about stocks, trying to use your own investment experience right now to grow during this time, whether it be on Robinhood or you have enough money to start a brokerage account and you can open it up with a broker, whatever you're doing, this is still a time for you to be able to look at the data, look at the research, look at the history, make wise decisions. All of it is tied together. Look at that GDP. Look at the net trade and look at the net, honestly, export and import reports. There's a lot of them out there. I want to do more information on that, break it down. I just took a course on LinkedIn talking about economic indicators. It's really good. I'm still finishing it up. So I'm out here doing exactly what I'm teaching. So with that being said, you can look at things a lot easier once you have more of the information. So when you look at the news, especially like CNN Money, CNBC, you look to make wiser decisions based off of the information that they're getting it from. Because it is a product at the end of the day. They got to keep you watching, right? So they want to make it good. So we got this 2K game going. It's us versus Houston. You know them boys in Houston be hooping. So we going to give it to them with the Celtics. All right. Let me get this first bucket real quick, folks. We're on 38 minutes. Still got a little bit of time to talk it over. All right, so back to the scientific method. Use that to your advantage. Use the economic indicators. When you are getting into a stock investing, don't just hear the word empty blanket statement, but really research what it means. We know what the stock market crashing means. Typically, just using very basic understanding of it, it means, hey, the prices are probably going down. Something happened, something that's making people more fearful or want to get out, and that means there's going to be more supply, and the price is going down. It's due to supply and demand because that boy Westbrook just got a bucket on. But anyway, with that being said, if there's more supply and low demand, then their prices are going to go down. If there's more demand and low supply, then prices are going to go up. So that's my take on stock market investing for now. We'll talk more about that over different episodes as I grow and I keep researching. But let me know what you think about that, and I would love to learn what you guys are doing. There's a great... Oh, no! Did I just have an open... This is what happens when you be trying to do too much on 2K, man. I had an open, easy bucket, and I'm over here spinning around. And I'm playing the boys. So anyway, with that being said, there's an Irish Journey. I love that channel. They help me out a lot with just understanding FIRE or FI, financial independence, retire early type of structures. Oh, yeah, let me get that. Oh, no. That boy Westbrook's so sneaky on this game. But yeah, they break down a lot. Index funds where you can lower fees. Hey, I'm in the fund business. I understand fees are not always the best. This is your money. Why do you need so many high fees to manage it? If you're not too sure and you're just starting off, that's okay. Irish Journey breaks it down. They give you real life information on how they were able to retire early, move to Portugal, and live off of their investment fund, even during this time right now, the pandemic. So really helpful there. Shout out to them. Moving on to our next subject. We'll play a little basketball here. And just give you a little bit extra game. So much easier to have notes with me and do this. Tried a test run earlier today, and it was hard to talk, keep focus, and still play a good game. I actually play better talking about finances. Go figure. So anyway, with that being said, oh yes, sir! Give me that. Hit that thing. Yes, sir. No. Tatum. Anyway, so little side note, man, on what's going on. I know we're going to talk about the LA Clippers. That's an interesting case study that I'm thinking about. I want to share the idea of where this bag talk came about, with us having about 20 minutes left. Bag talk was really an idea that I thought of because I am launching a fund, and it is based around private equity techniques in the real estate world, buying multifamily, which are apartment buildings. That is a very been honestly what I've been learning over the last year and a half. That's been my master's degree. I've been having the pleasure to work with a firm here in Atlanta and to grow and to be a part of some deals. And now also taking on the opportunity to launch a fund and go after it. I've also fell in love with understanding how accredited investors work, which as of this video and as I spoke on it, is really someone that earns $200,000 a year annually, individually, or have a net worth minus liabilities, so minus all the stuff that you owe money on, and that is going to be your net worth. So, how do they invest? And the cool thing about that is, when we're talking about Robinhood, I'll probably keep this to about 5 minutes. It is really when you get in early, like the Gary V's and PayPal and Jeff Bezos. With I think there's so many different people that just get in early and can either buy the company or buy big shareholders. I mean, big shares and privately held companies looking to go public. That was literally the worst decision I could have knew I was going to charge. But you have to be accredited. You have to be either part of a business with all accredited investors or just sticking to the basics, $200,000 a year annually or $1 million net worth. That allows you to get in early when it's low, similar to what we're talking about now. And then when they go public, once that price gets set, you can see your value of your initial investment go up on that first day, or it can be lost because this is a new company and the markets are going to do what the markets do. Now, that being said, I've fallen in love with understanding that world, but I am completely aware that not everybody is, maybe even taught this. We get specialized in certain subjects, and with that being said, this is a subject that doesn't really get taught a lot, but it's really important for how the economy works, where your money goes. So when we're thinking about investing, we also don't want to lose a lot of these concepts, lose a lot of these lessons, and let's do it in a place where it makes sense. Like during quarantine, I'm gaming, I'm using my Xbox, staying safe, staying home. So I figure why not hop on the box and let's start talking about finances, helping people out. And it's also going towards my goal of helping 1,000 people reach accredited investor status or better, $200,000 a year. But the more millionaires we can make, the better. So we can be a part of those deals as well. So that's where it came, giving you free, unadulterated, pure, honest, genuine financial advice. And it's coming from the heart. So that's my tripod, by the way. But that is really the goal of what this bag talk was about. I'm looking forward to gaming against people, hopping on 2K. I'm definitely also interested in getting a PS4. Never thought I would ever say those words, but I do know a lot of people have a PS4, so getting a gamer tag as well and being able to invest on that time to spread to that community as well would be important. So that's where Bag Talk came from. It looks like I'm getting my butt kicked right now on 2K, but that won't be the way forever. Now back to our case study. Let me go back on the laptop. Got about 15 minutes here to talk about those Clippers and Steve Ballmer. So Steve Ballmer says that they have reached an agreement this recently to buy the Forum in Inglewood for $400 million cash. Now, how we're going to tie all of this in together? Well, let's think about the timing right now. Stock market's going up and down. This is a private deal that is happening, and $400 million will be moved during this time of uncertainty. So I think this is a great case study for us to take a look at all of the things that we've learned today, interest rates, talk about economic indicators, and also negotiating as a way for us to tie it all together. And also just talk about basketball. Because it's basketball, it's the NBA. It's really an interesting story to learn about the business of the NBA also. So, Steve Ballmer is, I don't know offhand exactly everything, but I know he's come from the Microsoft space, tech world, we're going to keep it pretty general. But Steve Ballmer is a billionaire. That's what we need to know. Microsoft and billionaire, right? So tech world, he's got it. He bought the Clippers, and I have this quote here. I want to say after all of the scandal that happened. What year was that? 2014, May 29th, he bought the Clippers for $2 billion. It's a lot of money, mind. So the Clippers have, I believe they've been sharing the Staples Center with the Lakers since '99. Also the Sparks, and also if the Kings, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the NHL Kings play there. So it's a magic show that happens, switching all these teams, two major NBA teams there in the same arena, and they've been coexisting for years. Now, Steve Ballmer comes in 2014, pays $2 million for the team, which is crazy. I'm quite sure I definitely would love to learn more about the makings of a deal to buy an NBA team. I looked up Tim Fertitta, who bought the Houston Rockets, put $100 million down non-refundable deposit. We talked about down payments, right? Talk about putting $100 million down non-refundable. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a lot of risk, right, guys? But anyway, Steve Ballmer has been kind of going back and forth, I guess, with this arena that they want to buy called the Forum in Inglewood. You know, gentrification is a subject that comes up a lot with real estate, and I'm quite sure that there's a lot of speculation on what would happen when they buy this Forum. And that means the Clippers come into town. So it's an interesting take on a lot of economic indicators. You have the municipality over there at Inglewood, and also the residents of Inglewood. You have the business of the NBA. You have the business of the Forum, which is a live music arena. And what's happening is the Clippers wants to buy the Forum and I believe put their arena next to it. So you don't necessarily have all the events in the same building, but you can have basketball happening in one arena, music happening in the other, and of course a business decision. They get to make money on both types of events. So that's really the gist of the deal. There was a lawsuit, not too sure why. I'm a Knicks fan, but it had to do with the MSG group, which owns Madison Square Gardens. I believe they own the Forum as well. There's been a legal suit, but that legal kind of lawsuits, I believe, are supposed to be dropped, and that's opened up the way for the $400 million purchase. Oh, why is this important? Why is this important? Well, if we are talking about stock and all these things are interrelated, I want to know, why is it that someone can spend $400 million right now when the whole world is kind of on standstill? Like, what's happening on that end? I broke it down to this. Well, we want to look at the business benefits for the Clippers. Not only will the Clippers expand their earning power, and also scheduling ability. So now they can schedule differently. You can have music in one arena, and you can have the sports realm happen in their Clippers arena. Again, what are arenas typically named? Well, they're named after companies who can spend big dollars on the rights to call the building their name. Think State Farm Arena, Oracle Arena, or you name it, right? Those are big companies spending a lot of money, so that every time we turn on the television and we're talking about where the game is on tickets, that name, State Farm, it's everywhere, right? And then they'll probably have nights where they'll give away free stuff, and that will also provide a lot of money coming in. Big deal, right? Imagine having two arenas being named that. Maybe you could charge double the price. That's really a big business decision on the Clippers have. Again, one of the things that they also are doing, they're solving a problem, which is huge. This is where negotiation comes in. It takes time and patience. It wasn't overnight, but ironically, the deal is moving forward during the pandemic. So that's, to me, in my regards, keeping it simple, due to proper planning. With that being said, if we look at it from the aspect of, now, what problems are they solving to get a yes? Now, they have a few stakeholders being people affected by this business decision. And we have the community of Inglewood, we have the government, the municipality, we have the NBA, and we have his partners, the Clippers partners. Yes, sir. Something thank Carti. So, one of the things that they have said is the Clippers adding the arena will bring 7,500. What you talking about, Siri? 7,500 construction jobs to Inglewood. So that's something that a lot of people are going to really raise an eye up. With a lot of furlough and unemployment happening, if a company is bringing you great 7,500 construction jobs, that can help people in the neighborhood. That's, I'm just speaking from the Clippers' point of view. Now, you have to take into account what those wages will be. Will those actually impact people's capability to live the life that they were living before the pandemic, or even better? maybe provide more money. So you want to take that into account as well. But the Clippers are using this as a negotiating tactic. Think back to you buying your supercar, your Lamborghini, your Rolls Royce. You want to know the things that you can go in and be informed, or think about when you're buying stock. You want to be informed about the whole story so that way you can stand firm when you put a price together. $400 million may be a deal to Steve Ballmer. And, maybe we may not look at it from a perspective of having $400 million, but Steve Ballmer and the Clippers may say this is the best price. Here's why we're going to pay $400 million. Because I'll tell you one thing, you don't usually make money overspending in real estate. You make money on buying it at the best price. And Walker, you missed it. I knew he was going to. So that is part of the negotiating aspect, in my opinion. Hey, we're bringing 7,500 jobs for construction and 1,500 permanent jobs. So, of course, once construction is over, those jobs don't usually last. But 1,500 permanent jobs once the complex opens. The Clippers have proposed a $100 million package in community benefits. Now, that's one of those big blanket statements, in my opinion. What does community benefits mean? I'm sure they had to have a proposal together to answer that exactly, because you just can't say community benefits and everybody knows what that means. Is it affecting a certain part of the community? You name it. But all of this is what's going to get the yes to move forward on a deal like that. So big decisions. I think it's very important to note that this is moving them forward during the pandemic. Was there any pressure coming from the other side? Maybe they're getting squeezed financially one way, and they need to get this $400 million now, and this is not necessarily the best way to do it by having legal battles occur. So I think this is something that ties it all together, because we look at negotiating, and yeah, he just dumped it on me lagging. So you look at negotiating, you look at solving problems, you look at understanding all the stakeholders in a decision like this. I'm quite sure there'll be some publicly traded companies that also will benefit or maybe not benefit from this deal going through. Those construction companies get to move forward with doing another large-scale project that can improve their ability to get other jobs, doing a great job with this. And there's just a lot of moving pieces that help a lot of decisions to be made, and also can impact your portfolio if you are investing around that area or investing in companies that have something to do with it. So that is what I have for our first bag talk. It's been real. We have about 6 minutes, so I'm just probably going to game out for here, and then I'll end the stream and try not to get my butt kicked on 2K. But let me know what you guys think about it. I think this would be very beneficial. Again, I said earlier, I was able to live stream and to put together our first run, and I realized that my Twitch video did not save. So, blessing in disguise, that was able to help me to re-record this later today, and also put together notes and to be better prepared for tomorrow. Thinking about doing it daily. I do a motivational Monday. I guess you can learn a little bit more about me if this is your first time tuning in. I wrote a book. It's called Fundamental 4. Well, a lot of these topics I actually went out and I researched, and I've just been learning ever since. So my Fundamental 4 book was really a need that I saw for myself, which gave me the opportunity to research the things that I was curious about and to dive deeper. Also, the owner of the podcast, the C.E.O. podcast, formerly called it the Millennial Moguls in the Making Show of Alliterations. So the C.E.O. podcast stands for cash flow, equality, and ownership. Those are the things that I value. I want to see more cash flow in people's pockets, especially helping a lot of other people reach that accredited investor status. So you can invest in startups, so you can invest in the next big groundbreaking company to come out of this pandemic early, so you can get that steep discount. But that takes being an accredited investor and also sophisticated investor, which is also why this show and our podcast is built around helping you to learn these rules of money. Not a one person show. It's about us all working together. Let's get it. I'm telling you, I play better when I talk about finances. I just do. I overthink when I'm just playing. Oh yeah, he's working it. That's what I get for talking to you. Oh, that was okay. But anyway, yeah. So it's about helping you help yourself to educate, go to where the places you need to go to in order to create that cash flow. Equality doesn't just mean race, gender, and religion, but it also means mindset. And my goal in life is to diversify the financial world at the highest level, and that means typically having a having a humane approach to investing, and also just being empathetic, caring about the others. A lot of decisions on the news side of things, when it comes to money, we hear it a lot of times. It has to move the bottom line. Well, I think we can make wise decisions financially that impact people positively. And being a social investor is not a bad thing. It can be a very good thing, especially for those who will be a stakeholder. Next, I am also engaged, so definitely excited about that. I'm blessed. I should be getting married next year, especially during all of this pandemic stuff. So we're planning for September. We have our YouTube page. I'm praying that we can get some game videos up there too. We downloaded Pac-Man. She loves playing the Pac-Man and also this game called Crazy Taxi. So when we get the PS4, I know there's some throwbacks for sure. I won't lie. That PS2 and PS1, I definitely love a lot of those old school games. So I wonder, does the PS4 network have a lot of classics? So I'm looking forward to that. And what else? Oh, Hartley Capital. We are up and running for accredited investors. That's why I would love to help others to reach the point where you can start your fund. I can be a part of your fund. Or maybe you can learn more about us at Hartley Capital and what we do with real estate. And we're definitely looking to do some diversification and a growing full-fledged fund. Part of my goals is to get into that hedge fund space. And I'm definitely learning each and every day. I've been blessed to meet people, to have mentors, and to also just have the tenacity to read and learn. I'm telling you, there's so many things you can do. But yes, so that's a little bit more about me. Hartley Capital right now, we got a lot of opportunities that should be reaching the surface right now, that we're looking forward to moving forward and building our track record and keep pushing, and building those relationships. Because anything that you do, if you're working from the flip side to buying multifamilies or even commercial, you have to keep your investors in mind. So educating our investors about who we are, our strategy, and letting them know that we have transparency is important. That's big. Investors and investing, they get a lot of bad rip because there's bad actors, and the SEC literally calls it bad actors. So you want to know that the people that you are trusting your money on, another one, reverse windmill dump. You're trusting them with your money and doing the right thing. So that's what we're doing at Hartley Capital. I thank you guys for tuning in, seeing me play 3 games. I'm going to keep pushing this. I think this is pretty groundbreaking. I'm blessed. And with that being said, on next possession, I'm going to pause the game and pray us out. All right. So, dear God, thank you, God, for blessing us with the opportunity and the platform to speak on things that we know we want to grow. We thank you, God, for blessing us with all that you have. And more importantly, we glorify you. We want to keep praising your name. And thank you, God, for being stronger than any pandemic. I pray safety on all those lives who may have been impacted during this time. And I know that, God, you are a God that loves and protects us. So thank you, God, for doing all that you do. I pray protection over anyone who might see this video, anyone that may have heard about this video, anyone that hasn't seen this video. Just pray protection and safety over their lives. Decrease me to increase you, God. I thank you again. It's a blessing to be a blessing. Please, God, help this show to turn into something that may encourage someone else to strike this domino effect. And more importantly, be good stewards of wealth that you've blessed us with. And more importantly, God, this is a gathering of victorious believers. And I thank you for all the protection. And Satan, you are absolutely defeated in every area of anybody's life on this live stream. And I just want them to have a great week. So with that being said, folks, amen. I want to say thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to the next Bag Talk tomorrow. Tuning on in, over and out.